Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the MS Word tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 8, and we're gonna learn about working with images in this particular chapter. Okay, so we'll learn that how you will be able to use images or put images inside your Word document. We will learn different ways to do so. So let's not waste much time and let's get started. Over here, back again at the home page of MS Word. First thing first, let's create up a new document. From here, I will just click on a new document and you guys can see that I do have created a new document right over here. So now let me ask you that why do you want to use images inside your Word document? Well, Word document is used for many ways. I do have told you if you do want to create any kind of CV or you want to create any kind of blog post. So in many blog posts, you guys will see, or in many kind of documents, you guys will see that they do have images as well. Let's say you are making a report on something, and there to make your point understand to the people more clearly and more visually appealing, you do use images or you tend to use images. So now let's try to understand that if you do want to use images, how you're going to do that in MS Word. First thing first, come on top over here, just under the menu tab, you do have different ribbons or tabs over here. From here, I will go to the insert option. And in our last class, we do have learned about tables. Okay, we do have learned in detail about tables. But now, from here, if you take a look onto the right hand side, you guys are able to see that there is an option known as insert pictures. Okay, so if you just click on this particular arrow over here, you guys can see that I do have three different options or three ways to insert picture from uh, in MS Word. So the first thing or the first option tells me that if you do have any images inside your device already, like inside your device in your folder, if you do have any images which you want to import inside your Word document, just click on this device, which will basically redirect you into your PC. Okay, so it might take some time sometimes. Okay, so over here, let's go to desktop. Let's me just go to my resource file. And as you guys can see that I do have all of these images from which I can basically choose from. Okay, so here now they're asking you like, do you want to insert this whole image? Or do you want to link to this particular file, or do you want to insert and also you want to get the link? So for me, I will just click on insert right over here, and if you just take a look here, I do have inserted the images in which I will work on. So let me just decrease the size of it for now, and let's click on insert. And the next option to insert an image is basically if you go to pictures from here, I do have an option called stock images. So what do you mean by stock images? What are stock images basically? Well, in MS Word, by default, we do have a lot of options for images as well. Okay. So from there, if you want to select like if just click on stock images, and here you guys can see that you do have a lot of option of images from which you can choose from. Okay, like here you will be able to search what kind of images you want, and if you don't like it, right from here you guys can see that you do have the option of choosing from icons. You do have the option of choosing from cutout people. There is different kind of stickers, different kind of illustrations as well. Okay, and also there is cartoon people. So if you just come over here, if you just come down, as you guys can see, few of the images over here basically do have this diamond sign on the left hand side. So you need to know that if you do want to use those images which do have a diamond sign on their side, you won't be able to use those images, and you will only be able to use those images in case if you're using the premium version of MS Word. Okay, so here you guys can see if you want to go premium, you guys can go premium with all of these options as well. And let's say from here you don't like any images, so now you are searching for blue sky. So what you can do is you guys can go into their page, or you can go into their search bar, and you guys can just type blue sky. And once you've written blue sky, here you guys can see all the related searches, or all the images related to both of these keyword had basically been appeared in my screen. So let's say from here, I want to take this particular image. And once I've selected, I can just select multiple one as well. So let's say I will select both of these images. And if I just click on insert, you guys can see my images has been inserted over here. So what I can do is I can just decrease the size quite over here. Same, let's decrease the size here as well. And also I will come here and I will just decrease the size from here. Okay, so there is this layout options. Let me just select this particular option right over here. Right. Text option, let me just go with square. And the same way, I will select this. Let me just move this one out as well. So this is another way of how you will be able to use stock images inside your Word document. But now, let me show you guys the last option. If you go to insert, let's go to pictures. And lastly, if you click on online pictures, it will take you online. And from there, basically, you guys can search the pictures accordingly. So here you guys can see I already do have a lot of niche from which I can choose from. Like if I want apple, there is balloons, there is car, food, there is party, there is soccer. So you guys can choose it from here. Otherwise, you guys can just search for the images you are looking for. Okay. You guys can just type burger and just search. Okay, so you guys can search anything as you want. Let's say if I do want to take this image, I will just select that particular image and I will just click on insert. So here you guys can see the image is basically being inserted over here. Let's decrease the size from here. And if you do want to move it out, you guys can come here and basically you guys can move this one out as well. So let me just decrease the size of the images. And now let me just place this thing accordingly. Let's place it. So now from here, we do have basically understood about three ways of importing or inserting images inside your Word document. So the next thing what we're gonna learn is that the option once you choose an image. So let me just place this one here in the center. Let me choose this particular image. And once you have selected an image that you want to work on with, you guys will be able to see there is another ribbon which is added over here known as picture format. Okay. So I will just select the picture format. And you guys can basically see that there are a lot options available. So let's start on with the first one. Like if you do have any kind of images where there is a particular subject or let's say a human being. So if you want me to show you guys an example, so I will just go to insert, let's go for online pictures. And from here now, let me just select man and let me just take this particular images. Let's click on insert. And well, it might take some time over here. Let me select this particular image right over here. If you do want to decrease the size, you guys can decrease the size. And also, if you do want to place it accordingly, let me just place it right over here as well. So over here, I do have resized this particular image, and from now I will just click on this particular image. Let's go to picture format, and basically from here, now I will be able to remove the background. So it will try to do okay work. But if you like to remove any background, I will prefer that you do use other websites. Okay, just go to your search engines, just search for remove background of the images. There you will get access to different kind of free websites from where you guys can do that as well. But let me just show you. Let's click on remove background right over here. And as you guys can see, basically over here, you guys will be able to select what marks or what are the areas that you want to keep. Okay, so just make sure that you do make it quite well. Make sure to keep this particular area over here. And the same goes here as well. So make sure to keep this area also. And now, once this is done, I will just click on keep changes, and this is how it will basically look once I remove the background of my particular images. So, this is the first one. I hope you guys do have understood. And now the next thing what we're gonna learn about is corrections. Like if you just click on corrections here, you guys can see there are a lot of options. Like if you wanna soften the image over here, you guys can actually do that. If you want to sharpen your image, you guys can do that. And there is option of brightness and contrast. You guys can decrease or increase the brightness and the contrast of your images. And also here you do have different picture correction options. So here, once I do have selected the picture correction options, okay, let's come here and again, let's click on picture correction options. Here you guys can see I do have different options of doing so as well. Well, over here I do have different kind of presets as well. I can actually select the sharpness from -100 to 100%. I can also select the presets right over here itself. Okay. I can also choose the level of brightness, the level of contrast. If I do want to work on with the picture color, I can do that. If I want to work with the transparency, I can also do that. So for that, let's come over here back again in color. You guys can see that you guys will be able to work on with the level of saturation, the color tone. If you do want to recolor it to any other color over here, you guys can just see that the color of my image is being changes once I hover my mouse over onto these options as well. Okay. And if you do want to see more variations, you guys can just choose the color of your liking from the color options over here. Okay, if you do want some colors from here itself, you guys can do that. And if you do want to set this one to a transparent color, like the make a color in the current picture transparent, you guys can do that. And also, if you go to picture color options, you guys will be redirected to the format of the picture as well. Same goes with the artistic effects. Here you guys can see, you guys can have this grid effect, and there are a lot of these options. Any of this you like, you guys can actually choose this one. Okay, this one looks a bit of vintage. Here you guys can see, this one you guys can see. Okay, so you guys can just explore all these options as well. And once you click over here inside this artistic effects here, you guys can choose from here inside the picture format. And now, lastly, I will make you guys understand about the transparency. Okay, so over here, you guys can see that there is no transparency in the first option. And here you guys can see 15% transparency, 30% over here, 50. Over here, you do have the 65 option, and I do have the option of 80 as well. Okay, so from here, you guys can actually check out the level of transparency over here of those images. And again, if you want to manually change those, just click on more options, and from here, basically, you guys can just go to the picture transparency and select the level accordingly. Like you guys can select 10, you guys can select 15, 20, if you just any numbers in between 1 to 100. Okay, so that is about this transparency option. And over here, you guys can see that there is an option known as compress pictures. So in simple word, it does decrease the size of the image. Okay, it just decreases the size of the image, that if you have multiple images inside one Word document, that it will fit accordingly. So in that case, you guys can use this compress pictures option. But now over here, I am going to tell you guys about a very important option over here, which is known as change picture. Let's say I do have this particular picture in a particular position, but now instead of that particular picture, I want to change it with some other picture. But at the same time, I don't want to change its positioning as well. The way I have cropped and each and everything, I don't want to change as well. So in that case, the easiest option for you is change picture. Let's say instead of this particular picture, I will just go to my device and I want to change this one with this particular picture. If I just click on insert, here you guys can see, just by changing it and without changing its position inside, it have changed out the images. So you guys can just replace it with icons. You guys can take images from online, you guys can take images from stock images as well, and the easiest way to change picture. And the same way, if you do want to come here and if you want to reset the picture, you guys can reset the picture. And if you want to reset picture and also reset the size of the picture, once you have selected it, you guys can come here and you guys can basically do that. Okay, so let's select this particular image. I hope till this much it was clear. And now let's come to these options on the left hand side. So if you just click on to this arrow right over here, you guys can see there are a lot of presets. Like you do have this different kind of frames over here. Okay, if you do want it in oval shape, or you want this thick black matte uh, place or frame, you can select all of those. These are the options you guys can work on with. Okay, so different kind of picture styles over here. And individually, if you want to select the border of the picture, you guys can come here and you guys can choose what kind of color you are looking for. Let me just go with this green color. And once I've selected the green color, here you guys can see I can actually select the weight. Okay, so over here you guys can see I will just take a 3-point weight over here. And also After that, I will be able to select that what kind of line do I want. Do I want a straight line, or do I want this curved one? Do I want this freehand one, or do I want this particular kind of line over here? And there is more lines option. You guys can come here and you guys can select the type accordingly. Okay. And over here now, let's select it. And let me just go with this normal simple line. And also I don't want it dashes. So over here, there is another option known as dashed. So now from here, they will show that do you want just a straight line or a solid line, or you want rounded dot, or you want this type, or do you want this kind of dash over here in between, or are you looking for dash dot lines? Okay, so these are few of the options over here. And under picture effects, here you guys can see there are a lot of presets. Okay, so these are different kind of presets from where you guys can choose from. Okay, this different kind of 3D presets. And also if you just go to the shadow option, there is this outer shadow, there is this inner shadow, there is this perspective shadow, a different kind of reflection is also available, different kind of glow. And if you are looking for soft edges and stuff, there are different variation of soft edges as well. Okay, so on the sides you guys can see there is kind of fading away. Okay, so the more you go, the more faded it will look. Okay, so this one doesn't have any soft edges. This one have a little bit. Over here you guys can see 2.5, and here you do have 5 point of soft edges. And over here you guys can see that there is this bevel options. Okay, you guys can come here and you guys can actually choose from all these options right from here itself. Okay, and lastly, there is this 3D rotation. If you do want to give some parallel rotation, there are a lot of presets. There is this perspective preset. There is this oblique presets over here. Okay, so you guys can select from all these options right over here as well. So this was about picture effects. And like if you do want to put out, let's say 3 images or 2 images, just select this one and maybe you guys will be able to use this circular picture callout. Like you guys can use some of the points over here as well inside your image, and here you guys can just type this thing out. Let's click on enter. Okay, you guys can just type more things out, and here you guys can add another image. Okay, so just double click on this and from here you guys will be able to search. So I'll just go back using Control Z. Over here, let me just select this particular set of image. Let's go to picture format, and this is about picture layout. Okay, and here you guys can see you do have the alt text box. Like if you want to create a description of objects for screen readers, you guys can actually do that. So in that particular case, let's say for this image, I want to give some detailed information about this. So I will just write this is an image. So I will just generate automatic text over here. So here you guys can basically see a glacier next to a body of water. So I'll just come here and if I just take this particular image and if I just try to go to the alt text, here you guys can see that it is showing me this particular image. Like how would you describe this object and its content to someone who is blind or low? So the subject should be in detail, the actions or interactions or other relevant information, and it should be in 1 to 2 detailed sentences. Okay, so I will just come here. I will just make sure uh, approve all text, and I'll just close it down right over here. So again, let's take this particular image. Let's go to picture format. And over here, you guys can see that you do have the option of position. Okay, like where do you want to position this particular images? Do you want to position it on the top hand? Do you want to position it on the center? Do you want to position it on the right? Or over here, if you do want to position it in the middle, center, and on the left hand side, and if you do want to position it in the exact center, do you want to position it on the center right? Here you guys can see there is this option of bottom left, bottom center, and bottom right as well. And if you want to explore more layout options, you guys can come here and explore that as well. So over here, there is this particular option known as text wrap. So in that particular case, what happens is if it's in inline with text, and now if I try to move this one, here you guys can see that I'm not able to move my images. But if I just go on with the square one, here you guys can see I am able to move these images out and work accordingly. So these are mainly used for if you do have a text box, like if you are trying to put the text box on top of the images, you guys will see the text will automatically move and your image will be placed accordingly. So different ways to do that, like there is square, there is tied, there is through, top and bottom. You guys can just explore through all of these options right over here itself. Okay, and there is this option bring forward, send backward. So if I do have these images right here on top, and if I tell that send backward, okay, so if I just come here and if I just type send back, here you guys can see the image which I had over here selected is move backward. And the same way I will just click here and I will just bring to front, and again my image is back at front again. So what is the difference between bring forward and bring to front? So once you have a lot of layer of images and you want to bring the images which you have selected on top of everyone, just directly click on bring to front. And for bringing forward, let's say you do have 3 or 4 layers and you want to bring your images into second layer, which is now in the fourth layer. So if you just click on bring forward, it will just go one step by one step to the next one. So that is about bring forward, and the exact opposite is send backward. Okay, if you want to send it backward step by step, just use send backward option. And also there is an option known as send behind text. You guys can also do that by sending behind text. So here you guys do have this option known as alignment. Okay, if you do want to align it to the left, align it to the center. Okay, you guys can just select all of these images and distribute vertically, or if you want to distribute horizontally, you guys can do that. And also you guys can select how you do want to align. Like, do you want to align it to the page, or do you want to align it according to the margin of the page over here? So different option of alignment. And here, if you do want to rotate any object, here you guys can see, you guys can just rotate it onto the right hand side by 90 degree. You can rotate this image by 90 degree over here as well. If you do want to flip vertically or flip horizontally, you guys can also do all of that right over here. Okay. So lastly, you do have the option of cropping, like how do you want to crop? Do you want to fill crop or do you want to fit crop? And also over here, you guys can actually choose, once you click on crop, here there is some black lines. You guys can just crop those things accordingly. Let's say over here, I will just crop it a bit from all the sides, and once you're done cropping, if you just click on enter, you guys can see the crop is basically being applied. So in the picture format, you guys can come here and put out the number as well. Okay, like you guys can just put out the number as well, like how much do you want to crop accordingly, and it will do the same for you. So yeah, I hope this class was clear about Learning about images, first off, we do have learned that how to insert images from this picture option. Then also we do have learned each and everything present inside the picture format option, like how you will be able to do some basic editing, how you will be able to work on with the text wrap option, how you will be able to bring it forward and backward, how to add frames and stuff. And also we do have learned how to remove background of an image if you want to do so. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're gonna learn more about MS Word. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.